Nick Drake, music for girls.
Not music, it's going to be so ridiculous.
That's beautiful.
I actually was prepared for this thing having to do with this recording I just did.
Let's listen to that voice for a second.
Yeah.
That's great. It's a great rock and roll voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? That's Slash, and we have Dave with us. I was being rude about Duff a minute ago. It turns out Duff has a very good reason for not being here.
What?
His lady wife has flown over to see him.
All right.
And they've got to patch up their marriage. So
I'm actually the only single guy in the band right this minute.
Are you single, Slash?
Well, no, I'm very married, but I'm the only one that doesn't have the spouse out.
He's the only one without wife.
Well, that means if the wife isn't here in rock and roll terms, that means you are single, doesn't it?
Incredibly horny. And I'm really jealous of all my bandmates because they're all getting laid.
Well, we could try and help out later. I don't know what we do.
They edit the porno movies at the hotel. It's a real drag. All you
Tell
see
me
is
about
the
it.
back of the girl's head.
What is, you see a lot of vases in odd positions as well, don't you? There's normally a bunch of flowers in the way in English hotels, stuff like that.
There's a lot of oddly placed inanimate objects.
Well, but you know what? A man of your age, use your imagination.
You know what? All things considered, still, you know.
But you must.
My
have some
imagination is one thing, but all it takes is just to see a girl walk down the street at this point. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, Slash.
Rolodex of memories, though.
Slash, how old are you now?
39.
Well, come on, calm down, 39. Calm down. When's your missus
My
coming
wife's
out?
Cuban, so you got to understand, I do a lot of fuck.
Now what's that mean? He coughed
Sorry,
it.
I was going to say shot.
We apologise on behalf of
Sorry
those
about
easily
that.
offended by marital sex. Okay, so now Velvet Revolver.
Yeah.
When I saw Velvet Revolver on a TV show, I thought, who are these guys? Where have they come from? I've never heard them before. They're obviously very accomplished. Then I recognise you.
Right.
I didn't know. When did this happen? I'm out of the loop here.
Basically, it started in May of 2002.
Okay.
Is what it
So it's
originally.
quite a while.
Well, that's when they, when Duff and Matt and myself first got together, and then shortly after that, Dave came into it, and then we spent 9 months looking for a singer.
Right.
And then Scott Weiland left SDP, and he got into the picture, and
That was Stone Temple Pilots, wasn't it?
That was actually June of 2003.
Now, who are these other guys? Josh Todd, Kelly Schaefer. They were in the band?
Kelly, who?
Kelly Schaefer?
I know that name, but I can't remember.
I don't know who these
No,
people
Josh Todd was originally what happened was it's a long story and we tell it all the time and you should know it by now. But then again, you are who you are.
Well, I didn't know.
You don't have to know. But so what I'll tell you is Josh Todd was the singer for a band called Buck Cherry, and when Matt and Duff and myself got together, we got together for this fundraiser gig, right, where all these musicians were trying to raise money for Randy Castillo, who's the drummer for Ozzy Osbourne. Was the drummer for Ozzy Osbourne.
Hold on a
passed
second. This
away.
is still getting too complicated.
No, I gotta run. I gotta run. Let it run its course. And so what happens? We all got together to do this gig, and that's how Matt and I and Duff decided we're going to start a band, and we kicked Josh out.
So anyway, they've been together for a couple of years now. That's the condensed version. Wow, he's a master storyteller.
No, it's
like Spalding Gray.
I've told that story so many times.
Yeah, well done. Thanks for making it the end for us one more time. So now let's establish this. You initially were born here in the United Kingdom. Well, you're not, Slash. Whereabouts?
Stoke-on-Trent.
Beautiful Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
Known for its pottery.
Pottery, I was just going to say, yeah.
Do you remember much of that period of your life?
I do. I actually, half my family's from there, so I was my grandfather and my grandmother had never even been to London. They were so Stoke people.
Stoke-centric.
A little village, And I just, the only thing, it was always so foggy in the morning when I had to walk to school. I remember when I'd leave the house, I couldn't see across the street. And then walking to school, I had the lollipop lady, which is an expression I've not heard since until today on the news, because apparently a lot of people in cars are trying to nail the lollipop ladies.
Well, sometimes they make you wait longer than they need to.
Yeah, so I remember that, and I was the little drummer boy in the Christmas play.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then I moved to the U.S. because my parents were in the music business, so L.A. was the place to be at that time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mid-60s. So.
Let me find out a bit about Dave. Where are you from originally, Dave?
I was born and raised in Los Angeles.
Oh,
in Hollywood, actually.
Not as interesting a story then.
No.
Now, how old are you,
Depends
Dave?
who you ask.
Let's say, how old are you, Dave?
38.
So you're 39, you're 38. How old is Duff?
I don't know.
He's probably late 30s?
He's 40. He's a little older than me, a year older than me, so he's 40.
And Scott, he's about 52 now, 53?
No. He's 37. He's the youngest.
Okay, he's the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're still men.
And Nat's the oldest, and he's got the youngest woman.
You see, with
So back
Slash,
to that
you know,
again.
he's got it on his mind. For him, it's like Chinese water torture. Seeing the other guys walking around with their ladies, and he's like, how long do we give it? How long before there's some sort
Well,
of...
we've only got
Thank
2
God we're
shows
only-
left,
yeah,
and we're going back to LA.
Oh, well, let's hope you channel that energy in a positive way.
I'm sure I will.
Now,
North.
your music is what? It's kind of like glam rock and roll. How would we describe it?
I don't think
It's-
there's any glam.
Yeah,
to
there's
it,
nothing
really.
glamorous.
It's kind of
about
glam.
it.
I think it's glam. It reminded me a bit of Iggy and the Stooges kind of rock. It's got that sort of the
Well, yeah,
rocky
that's
end
good.
of glam.
It's sort of your idea of glam, then.
Yeah.
It's a really great, sincere rock and roll band.
Well, you are all hugely accomplished musicians with a great past.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and hopefully a pretty good future. I didn't mean to say that it was all behind you.
No,
going well
everything's
so
been
far.
great. Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing. Everything's been going really, really great.
And it's a great, you have the archetypal rock and roll look going on.
Well, that's the way,
Yeah.
you know.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
That's what you wake up with.
Yeah, but it's a great
We
look.
sleep in those clothes.
But do you, are there meetings where you say, okay, you can grow your moustache like that, but if you try and wax the ends, you can't
No.
do that, Dave?
Well, the stylists have meetings about us.
You have stylists?
And then, no.
No. You say
Dave,
it's-
don't kill us.
I think he's giving a bit away there. He's giving it away. A very
I have a
flamboyant
team-
fella goes in and goes, no, not the moustache.
I just have a team of my own stylists.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you used to work with Dave Navarre, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he is really overstyled, isn't he?
Well,
He used to be
he's
a
got
lot
style.
more so than he is now.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
his style, but he wears
When he used to
makeup
wear
and
the
he has the
feather boas and all that. I
hot
used to-
pants.
Yeah.
He had stilettos.
He's got a, he's likes his look.
He does like his.
If I remember correctly, he and his wife, who's Carmen Electra, actually
right.
have separate bathrooms so that they can do their thing.
So the makeup doesn't get mixed up. Yeah, because that could cause a lot of marital stress.
Different skin tones.
I saw her
You
on
need
TV
different
and she
makeups.
said that, and I was like, wow. And she goes, he takes longer to get ready than I do.
But you know, the terrible thing is, I think everyone knew that already. What do you like to listen to, fellas? Who are your rock and roll heroes? What music currently do you find is exciting and interesting?
You go
I'm
first. 'cause
currently listening to Muse. I've
Oh,
been listening to
really?
that record. I said it yesterday. I realized it was the wrong song because I have it all on an iPod.
Yeah, of course.
And I listened to, I think the song's called Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
Every night before I go on stage because I have these in-ear monitors. So it's cool to walk out into the arena and see all the stuff, but as I'm listening to
You have the music
that
on.
song.
Wow, that must be. And I'm sure they'll be
Yesterday I
glad to
said
hear that.
I would listen to Hysteria, but that's a
Yeah.
different.
Well, Hysteria is a good track as
different
well.
day, yeah.
It's a great album.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
You've seen them
it
live?
is
They're
a
meant to
good
be one of the best
Yeah,
live
we
bands.
actually got lucky enough to. They played on a radio show in the States with us in Atlanta, and I actually was trying to get there early and ended up only seeing 2 songs, but they were amazing.
They're a great
I
band.
haven't seen
Yeah.
him yet.
And Slash,
Didn't
who do you
get
like?
there
Who
early.
do you listen to?
I'm still a big Who, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Stones fan.
70s rock and roll. 70s
There
rock and roll.
hasn't been really. There was a period in the '90s when Radiohead came out, and there was Nirvana and all that.
Yeah.
Nine Inch Nails was cool, and then everything, and the early like hip hop thing when it was really
Yeah.
street was cool. But since then, it's gotten pretty dull. as far
Didn't
as
you
I'm
play
concerned.
guitar with Michael Jackson? Wasn't there some
I
track-
did a couple guest appearances with him.
I remember that. And then what was that like? That must have been kind of weird.
You know, with all due respect, Michael's got to be one of the most talented, amazing singer performers I've ever worked with. Other than that, I don't really know.
Yeah, that's not in doubt, really, is it? I mean, he is, and that's why it's
It's been
a terrible shame.
overshadowed, though,
His
because
entire
of all
life,
this other
really,
crap that he's got going on.
But it is. I was listening to some of his early stuff. I was listening to the Billie Jean period. And that is just great music.
He's just an amazing
Yeah.
artist. It's a real shame that everything's turned out the way
Especially
it's
when you
turned
see
out.
Jackson 5 footage and stuff like that, even back then.
Yeah.
When it was so pure.
I remember when
It
Dance
was so
Machine came
awesome.
out, and I was only about.
And the cartoon, when they had the Jackson 5 cartoon.
When you were working with him, did he give you any Jesus juice?
No, I don't even know what
He
that
did-
is.
did he
I
ask
don't
for
know.
cuddles?
I
Did he
don't-
want you to
I-
stay over?
No, you know what? The cool thing about working with Michael was that he called me up, asked me if I would play on something, and I was really honored at the time, And I went down to the studio, and he was dating Brooke Shields at the time, and he said hi. I said hi, and then he split, and I did my thing, and then that was it. And then he called me up to do a couple different concerts, and the only time I really spent any what you call like personal time with him was he invited me into his trailer, and I met his chimps.
Yeah, well, that's
That's pretty the
That's
long.
what he calls it.
you know, even if you die, come pet my monkey. But even if you die
Either that
tomorrow,
or
that's
some
an
really
experience.
extremely hairy children. I'm not sure.
Not that there'd be anything wrong with that. Let's have some music. What are we going to play?
Well, we want to play this track you want the guys to cover.
Oh, yes. Now, here's an old rock and roll song. Are you familiar with British rock from the 60s?
Yes.
This is Dave D, Beaky Mick and Titch. Dave D, Dozy, Beaky Mick and
Mick and
Titch.
Titch, yeah.
This is a
Maybe
track
not
called
that
Bend
for-
It.
no,
I would
not-
like to hear Velvet Revolver work their magic on this. Give it a listen. I don't think, actually, having listened to it, technically you're up to it. Because it
you got a
speeds up.
balalaika?
It speeds up, and there's a balalaika. You know, no
It's sort of like
disrespect.
it's sort of like it reminds me of doing a lot of drugs.
Slash, I think most things probably remind you of that, don't they?
Not as much as that did.
What a great sound.
I think one of them's running a bar in Spain now. I think it might be Beaky.
Why doesn't that surprise anyone? We should briefly mention this. The Velvet Revolver have joined in and are involved in the charity record for the tsunami disaster appeal.
Right, we're the backing band,
Okay.
and then Scott Weiland's singing a part on it, and Ozzy's singing, and I got this whole list: Rod Stewart, Elton John, Phil Collins, Pink, Gwen Stefani.
Wow.
How do you say his name? Andrea
Bocelli.
yeah.
just
Josh
like that.
Groban,
Hey, mi dispiace.
Yeah.
Gavin Rosdale, Steve Tyler, Mary J. Blige.
Wow, so that's a fantastic lineup.
The
of
track
people there.
itself, I have to say we did a really good job.
It's good, and
really
it's Tears in Heaven that
Yeah,
you
Tears in
recorded
Heaven,
for this, which
the
is of
Eric
course
Clapton song.
a beautiful song,
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
beautiful song. Did you actually work together with the guys, or did you lay down your bit separately? And
We all did. The band did everything together, and then Elton was the only one guy that came in that day to do a vocal, and he put a piano and a vocal on in like 20 minutes.
yeah,
It was
he knows
great.
what he's doing.
It was classic.
He knows what he's doing. But it must be lovely. You guys know what you're doing as well. It must be nice when you get to that stage in your business, we think, you know what, we've got this down now.
If you do it enough, you know, you finally
kinda
get better
nice.
at some point. you know, the more outside jamming you do, the better you become.
Do
too.
you sing, Slash?
I try not to.
Because you've got a great speaking voice. Hasn't he got a great voice, Dave?
It's very sexy.
Yeah, it's a great voice.
I really. I
It
don't
doesn't
have the
translate well into
Hey.
singing though, because I have.
How
heard
about,
him
have you ever heard any of the work of Earl Brown of Hot Chocolate?
No.
Well, he did a song, You Sexy Thing.
Yeah.
I can imagine you doing a good version of that as well. I'll
I
put
don't have the personality for it anyway.
No, you don't
It's
have
hard enough just to get me to sit here and talk.
Well, how many cigarettes do you smoke a day now? Because you're one of the... you don't see people smoking much anymore, and it's coming lighting up, and it's quite a refreshing sight in a way, but it's a bit like going back in time. Because you just don't see it
It
indoors
reminds
much
you of
anymore.
when you used to smoke in the theaters.
Yeah, people used to smoke everywhere.
I know.
Now you see 3 or 4 sad people huddled in the rain outside buildings.
You know,
That's it.
the thing
Real
is
piece of plexiglass.
we're about to go to Japan, and trying to fly from California to Japan without a cigarette is like almost next to impossible. You know, so you have to pop a lot of pills and try to sleep.
Yeah, we found that's the best way to deal with it. Have you tried the patches? Have you tried the nicotine chewing gum?
You know what? I actually went to a hypnotist and quit smoking for 10 months until I got back here.
Really?
When Duff and I did a promo tour for this record before it came out, we went to Tokyo and then Paris and London and did this whole press thing. By the time we got to Paris, I was back to 2 packs a day.
Well,
I went to the same hypnotist.
Yeah.
And it actually, I think it's only a 10-month thing.
So
you don't know.
have you started smoking again?
No, I just quit again.
Right.
But
He
I
does.
mean,
He goes on and off.
Yeah.
He's like a girl that way.
Yeah.
You know, only girls do. I know they like quit for a week and then smoke. You know, socially. And
It's you know what I like about this band? It's like the 80s never happened. You know, that's a really 70s view of the world. Congratulations. Hey, good
the
luck
80s
with...
shouldn't really have happened.
Maybe not. Good luck with everything related to Velvet Revolver. I'm sure it'll be
We're
a
playing
huge...
tonight at Hammersmith and tomorrow.
When you played last night as well, didn't you?
And we played. Yeah, we
Brixton
played Brixton
Academy,
Academy.
Well, I bet it would go great tonight.
Man, this whole UK tour has been. I want to say the F word.
No.
Anyway, it was amazing.
Well,
It's all been amazing.
if only I could squeeze into my latex pants, I'd be there. But post-Christmas, you can see I've gone back to the bigger suits.
You can wear what you want.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'll try and come down. I'm working tonight. I might better sneak down later. Hey, we better go.
Go
The new-
tomorrow.
Go tomorrow. It's a good rock and roll show.
Well, don't sound desperate. I'm sure you've got... You don't have to...
Please,
After
please
I leave
come.
here, I
We
won't
got
even-
okay. I'll try and come. Okay.
Don't even say
promise?
that. Don't even say that
I'll
word.
try to come. Oh no! God bless you. 88 to 91 FM. This is Radio 2 from the BBC.